A major holiday travel headache at one of the busiest airports in the country. The Christmas Eve issues plaguing essential travel for much of the nation.
Concerns swirling among lawmakers and advocates as they accuse a state committee of overlooking pregnancy-related deaths after the fall of Roe v. Wade.
But first, we start with a live look outside where you can see some cloudy, dark skies settling over downtown Austin on this Christmas Eve. And those clouds could bring the potential for severe storms tonight.
And meteorologist Freddie Vela in for Nick Bannon. What can we expect over the next few hours?
Well, we're going to continue to see these showers starting to build up and start moving through. The timing now becoming a bit more clear of where we could see some potential weather. So let's play it all out for you now. I want to show you our satellite and a radar. We've already started to see the leading edge of that frontal boundary starting to push through. You'll see some showers picking up. In fact, I'll just zoom into one of these spots right here from Lampasas up to Adamsville and then farther into San Saba and down into Mason County. That's where we started to see some of these storms starting to build up and move through overall. So keep an eye on that as we go throughout the next few hours because that is the leading edge of the front as it starts to come through. I zoom out a bit more so you can actually see what's happening as we get out towards Dallas, through Waco, and then down towards Lampasas. This is all that leading edge of the front. We had several severe thunderstorm warnings that were in effect. Those have all now since expired, but you can see that there is activity that has been building up. I zoom out a bit more and you'll notice we're in this one spot right here between all the weather from Dallas to Waco and then some of those severe weather that we saw out towards Houston. You can already see the leading edge of the front and where that change is already starting to happen from Burnett to Llano to Mason as the winds start coming in from the north compared to the southerly winds that are coming in for the eastern and metro. A live look at our Wilson Landscape Supplies camera in Liberty Hill. We're going to continue to watch this, your rain chances, and when we could see some of that severe weather picking up. That's coming up in your first warning weather.
All right, Freddie, thank you. With the holidays in full swing, Mother Nature is delivering a winter wallop to much of the country.
As Alice Barr reports, the harsh weather and some technical issues pose hazards on the road, in the skies, and along the rails.
A holiday scramble at airports across the country after a technical issue temporarily grounded all American Airlines flights this morning.
It's very irritating because it's hard to plan.
The ground stop only lasted an hour, and the airline promised all hands on deck to get travelers back on track after what it called a vendor technology issue that impacted systems needed to let flights take off. Delays piled up quickly, setting off ripple effects for travelers facing a series of roadblocks in the skies, on the road.
We're moving pretty slowly.
And on the rails all week.
A day delay could mean that we don't end up home for Christmas.
Amtrak working to catch up after downed power lines triggered a 2-day snarl along the busy Northeast corridor. And more delays could be coming with millions under a winter weather advisory across the Midwest and Northeast. Wild winter weather on the West Coast, too, where hurricane-force winds drove flooding and dangerously high surf in California's Central Coast. A wharf collapsed in Santa Cruz, throwing 3 people into the water, who thankfully survived. With a white Christmas setting in for some, AAA is expecting a record 119 million travelers to brave any obstacle in their quest to make it home for the holidays. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Members of Congress are expressing concerns after a controversial decision by a state health committee not to review childbirth and pregnancy deaths in Texas after the overturning of Roe v. Wade.
And Sam Stark shares the committee's reasoning and why some lawmakers worry there's been a chilling effect on reproductive care in Texas.
At a December 6 meeting, advocates expressed directly their fears to the Texas Maternal Mortality and Morbidity Review Committee.
And I urge you to reconsider
over its decision not to review maternal mortality deaths in 2022 and 2023, the first 2 years after the state banned almost all abortions.
What I am concerned about is the fact that the 2 years that we are skipping are the most crucial years in reproductive health in this country's history.
It's a decision that the committee has defended, saying there was no bad intentions, but was necessary in order to offer contemporary recommendations. Here's what the committee chair said back in September.
This is not the first time that we have, if I like to call it, leapfrogged forward. If we were still reviewing year after, we would probably be at about 2016 now.
In a December 19th letter to the committee, from members of the U.S. House Committee on Oversight and Accountability, lawmakers echoed those advocates' concerns. saying, quote, ignoring pregnancy-related deaths during one of the deadliest periods in Texas for pregnant women directly contradicts the committee's statutory required mission of eliminating preventable maternal deaths in Texas. The group of 4 lawmakers, including Dallas area Democrat U.S. Representative Jasmine Crockett, asked the committee to provide a staff-level briefing by January 2, 2025, so it can better understand why they made the decision to skip those 2 years. Sam Stark, KXAN News.
A Department of Health and Human Services spokesperson told us last month that just because they won't do a comprehensive review of cases from 2022 to 2023 doesn't mean data from those years will be completely omitted.
Going in depth, an October report from the nonprofit investigative newsroom ProPublica made public the 2021 death of a 28-year-old mother who died of sepsis due to an untreated miscarriage. Now, according to their reporting, doctors told her it would be a crime to treat her until the fetus's heart stopped beating. Since then, 2 other Texas women have died after miscarriages. The Texas abortion ban makes an exception when the mother is at imminent risk of death or substantial impairment. In May, the conservative Texas Supreme Court upheld that language, ruling that it does not require doctors to wait until a woman is near death. Now, if you want to learn more, KXAN investigator Arzo Dost takes a comprehensive deep dive into maternal mortality in her Mother's Erased series over in the investigative section of KXAN.com. It's the holiday season, and that means lots of wrapping paper, Christmas trees, and food waste will be on their way to your trash. But this year, you might want to consider how to better reduce and repurpose some holiday waste. The city of Austin has set a goal to reach zero waste by 2040, lowering the amount of trash it sends to the landfills by 90%. And one way you can help is by sending guests home with any leftover food instead of just throwing it out. And if you have a real Christmas tree, those are easy to recycle and compost, thanks to help from the city and Texas disposal systems.
We are offering free drop-up starting the day after Christmas through the end of January. So you can just come on down, drop off your Christmas tree, and make sure the lights are off and all the tinsel and all that good stuff. And we'll make sure that it gets mulched and then composted.
If you want to learn more on how you can reduce waste this holiday season, we've got some tips over at KXAN.com.
Changes are coming to the cold and cough aisle of your pharmacy. U.S. officials are moving to phase out the leading decongestant found in hundreds of over-the-counter medicines. Now, this comes after the FDA concluded it doesn't actually relieve nasal congestion. Phenylephrine is used in popular versions of Sudafed, Dayquil, and other medications. Experts reviewed several recent studies indicating that it was no better than a placebo at clearing nasal passageways. Last month, the FDA proposed revoking its use in pills and liquid solutions, kicking off a process that will likely force drug makers to remove or reformulate products. Doctors say Americans will be better off without it, which is often combined with other medicines to treat cold, flu, fever, and allergies.
I think if there's one takeaway, it's that these medications are simply not effective. They're not dangerous. You know, you're essentially ingesting a medication that does not work, but it doesn't cause side effects. It's not harmful if swallowed, but it just simply doesn't work.
And if you need some allergy relief, you'll want to head to the pharmacy counter where you can find Sudafed and Claritin D without a prescription. Those medicines contain pseudoephedrine, which is proven to relieve congestion.
Malls in the Dallas-Fort Worth area are encouraging holiday shoppers to stay home and let drones deliver their packages.
Wing Aviation and DoorDash have partnered with several malls to allow consumers to shop online and have their purchases delivered by drone. Xavier Walton has more.
Just in time for the holidays, Wing Aviation and DoorDash have partnered up with several area malls to allow people to literally shop from home and then have it delivered by drone to their doorstep, or maybe even say a driveway. Let's get to some of the video of how it exactly works. This is Wing Aviation showing the type of drones that'll be doing the work. When someone orders something through the DoorDash app, they'll see an option to have it delivered via drone from over 50 different stores. After you place your order, a Serve Robotics robot grabs your items, takes them to a nearby Wing Aviation drone. The drone then flies up to about 150 feet and drops off your purchase at your doorstep. Listen to this, in less than 15 minutes. On the regulatory side, the FAA was a big player in this. They gave Wing Aviation the go-ahead to operate these drones beyond what the eye could see over Dallas, which is crucial for making this work in busy areas like Dallas or Fort Worth. This marks the first time a major landlord like Brookfield Properties is offering drone delivery services to support their stores. Wing has a track record of over 400,000 deliveries worldwide, with successful test runs in places like Australia and Ireland. So with all the approvals and their experience, the partnership is set to really push drone deliveries forward here in the United States, here in the state of Texas. Look out. No, just kidding. No drone deliveries for us. That's the latest here in Dallas. Xavier Walton, News Nation.
Well, let's check back in with Freddie because we have some of that severe weather starting to pop up not too far from us.
Yeah, just to the north of us, we're already starting to see a warning that's being issued right now. It's a tornado warning that was issued for Freestone County and Limestone County, and that's farther up past Rockdale, moving into east of Waco, essentially. And while that doesn't affect us directly, I did want to point out that this storm, or these lines of storms, are starting to pop up some severe conditions out there, and you can even see they're issuing another flood advisory or flood warning farther up towards the north too. So we haven't quite gotten there just yet. In fact, as we look at the latest information for us here, the only spots that are seeing some weather at all is Llano into San Saba out towards Lampasas, compared to anyone else within Central Texas. So we'll continue to monitor this as the night goes on, because this is producing some severe weather. In fact, as we zoom in a bit more, Adamsville now moving out towards the east. That's one pocket of heavy showers and thunderstorms that we've been seeing build up in the southern part of San Saba. And we're seeing another isolated thunderstorm that has picked up. So it's this line, this leading edge of the frontal boundary that continues to push through. San Saba also seeing some storms pop up farther out towards the west. So our severe risk for tonight falls into 3 different categories. If you're in the hill country, within the general thunderstorm category. If you're Lampasas, Burnett, down to Blanco, you're looking at marginal, which is that category 1, meaning you have all the ingredients, just doesn't look like it may happen for everyone. And then we see slight conditions farther out towards the east. And while we don't expect to see any tornadoes with this severe weather that's popping through, you can see that is a possibility farther up towards the north. So again, we have to monitor it and just be aware of what's going on as these storms are coming through. Hail is a possibility, and also strong winds. That front expected to push through, bring in plenty of heavy thunderstorms and showers as it comes in. This is where we could see the most active weather from Lockhart to Bastrop, even San Marcos into Dripping Springs, the metro itself into Giddings and Rockdale. As we get to about midnight, things should be moving out towards the east with a few more isolated pockets of heavy showers into Round Rock and Georgetown. And then as we get to 3 a.m., 4 a.m., things should pretty much be done. And then we'll be left with partly cloudy skies as we get out towards tomorrow afternoon. Overall, we look at the amount of rainfall you could get from now all the way through Saturday. You're looking at about an inch of rain for pretty much the metro out towards the eastern counties. Compared to the hill country, we're looking at maybe a quarter of an inch and even less than that. But you get a pocket of heavy showers, it's definitely going to affect you a bit differently. This is a live look at our Whittlesey Landscape Supplies camera in Granite Shoals, and you can see we're getting plenty of cloud coverage there as well. If you're planning on going to midnight mass tonight, just know 61 overall, 80% chance of rain tonight with some of the storms mostly out towards the east. Temperatures are already changing and shifting just a bit, especially out towards the hill country. 65 in San Saba, 64 in Lampasas, 72 in Austin, 78 in Bastrop, LaGrange at 76, and San Marcos at around 76 degrees as well. Tomorrow we'll be down to about 68 to 71, depending on where you're at, but that looks like that should be the majority of where everyone should be for the day itself. 7-day forecast, noticing we are going to hit 71 on Thursday with a 50% chance of rain there. By Friday, 74 degrees. And we start to warm up as we get into Sunday and Monday, up to about 81 degrees. As we move into New Year's Eve, we're looking at about the mid-70s for the day itself.
All right, Freddie, thank you very much. Former President Bill Clinton left the hospital this morning after being treated for the flu. The former president was admitted yesterday to a hospital in Washington after developing a fever. The 78-year-old was taken in for testing and observation. Upon his release, Clinton said he and his family were grateful for the care he received, and he sent his warmest wishes for all to have a happy and healthy holiday season.
A Starbucks barista strike that started in 3 cities last week is now expanding to more than 300 stores across 45 states. Now, this comes just as the company's busy holiday stretch gets started. About 5,000 workers are on the picket lines seeking an immediate pay raise to the tune of 64% and more than 77% over a 3-year contract. Starbucks sent a memo to employees saying the workers' demands were, quote, not sustainable. Starbucks also says about 170 stores did not open as planned today due to that strike, but with more than 10,000 stores located across the country, it said 98% of its locations are operating normally. Researchers in Siberia are conducting tests on a young mammoth whose remarkably well-preserved remains were discovered in thawing permafrost after more than 50,000 years. So the animal was recovered from more than 260 feet deep depression, which is widening as a result of climate change. The mammoth weighs more than 240 pounds and was probably a little over a year old when it died. But tests will enable researchers to confirm this more accurately. It is the latest of a series of spectacular discoveries in the Russian permafrost. And last month, scientists in the northeastern region showed off the 32,000-year-old remains of a tiny saber-toothed cat cub. And earlier this year, researchers uncovered a 44,000-year-old wolf carcass in the same area.
Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris hosted its first Christmas Mass today, 5.5 years after a catastrophic fire nearly destroyed the historic landmark. During today's service, the priest said the cathedral served as a symbol of faith, unity, and hope. A traditional midnight mass presided over by the Archbishop of Paris is currently underway. At the top of the hour, it got started. On the evening of April 15th, 2019, the cathedral's roof burst into flames. Much of the roof collapsed, but the bell towers and facade held. It remains unclear what exactly caused the fire. More than $800 million were donated from all over the world for the restoration work. That's according to the French president's office. Well, coming up tonight on KXAN, it's a holiday tradition. It's a Wonderful Life starts at 7 o'clock, and then you can join us for KXAN News at 10.
Or you can join us an hour earlier for KXAN News at 9 o'clock on CW Austin. Here's where to find us.